Be a good Jew, I believe, means that you have a relationship with God. You may not name it. You may say, I don't know whether I believe in God or not, but to be a good Jew, you have to, at some level, acknowledge that nothing makes any sense without the God of the covenant.
I think to be a good Jew means to be a good human being, a mensch, a decent person.
I would imagine that to be a good Catholic is not too different than being a good Jew. The particularities are different, but the basic fundamental position is not different.
We're all created in that image of the divine image. So there's a kind of eternity in us.
Our theologies differ from one another, but we begin at the same place.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return.
On 200 green acres, America's first Benedictine college, St. Vincent, welcomes 1,800 students a year. Here, two men, a Catholic and a Jew, began a dialogue nearly 50 years ago, rooted in their faith.
I'm J. Edelstein. I hail from New England, Massachusetts, a small town called Newburyport, which is 36 miles north of Boston. So I'm a Yankee.
I'm Father Campion. People ask me, how in the world did you ever come to be a priest and a monk? And I usually say, I don't know. The fact that the tallest building in Carrolltown, my hometown, was the church is a partial explanation, but maybe if the bank were the tallest building, I might be in Wall Street.
The historic Ecumenical Council, Vatican II, comes to a close.
In October 1965, the Second Vatican Council addressed relations between the Church and the modern world and issued a groundbreaking document, Nostra Aetate, Latin for In Our Time. The document highlighted the patrimony between Christians and Jews and called on both faiths to engage. St. Vincent was ready. 9 months earlier, it hosted a pioneering symposium on Catholic-Jewish relations that was an enormous success.
Everybody afterwards said, we listened to each other, we learned from each other, we respected each other. So I suppose the first thing we have to do is that very human thing of paying attention to each other, of not allowing stereotypes and concepts to stand between us and another human being.
Campion saw that for the dialogue to continue, St. Vincent needed a Jewish scholar among its teachers.
First of all, Father Campion invited me initially to be on the faculty. And out of that friendship, there developed a lunch, probably the longest lunch in history. It still goes on.
What does that mean, to transcend those circumstances? Since 1968, Rabbi Edelstein and I have had lunch together, either in his office or my office. And what I learned from that, in terms of Catholic-Jewish dialogue or any kind of dialogue, the ideas aren't enough. Somehow you simply have to be with people. It's a risk, because anyone you meet changes you in some way.
Nothing interfered with what seemed to be just a natural interchange that went on between us. And so we became more and more comfortable with one another. And that opened the window to all kinds of interreligious dialogue in which nothing was taboo and everything was possible.
Over the years, the two men's conversations were influenced by war and peace, political scandal, the digital revolution, and terrorism. But there was one topic they returned to time and time again.
We talked about the meaning that all of us seek. And we discovered that independently of each other, we were both taken by the philosophy, the theology, the psychology of a psychiatrist by the name of Viktor Frankl. I said, oh, gee, this is the same question that the document of the Second Vatican Council raises, that we're all in this all together, and we seek meaning together.
Meaning is not something that we construct. Meaning is something that we discover. We find meaning, and if we're open to God's help, there are messages that are signs that direct us in terms of how to fulfill our particular destiny.
Explain to me how learning to manage risk could be a good life lesson.
One former student who found meaning in the teachings of Rabbi Edelstein and Father Campion is Jennifer Silvas Delanis, an English teacher at Trinity High School in Washington, Pennsylvania. She recalls how their class changed her perception of the world.
I observed that sometimes the most powerful ideas were not those that were shouted the loudest, but the ones that came after quiet, deliberate contemplation. And that was something so fruitful and so interesting. In a world of so much commotion, in a world where extroverts get all of the attention, these two very learned men taught me something new about authenticity, taught me something as a young adult, a 20, 21-year-old kid, about what it means to truly interact with others in the real world.
How can we apply that?
The lessons Delanis learned are helping to inform her approach with her own students and to help her cut through the clutter of the modern world.
We are inundated with noise in absolutely every facet of our everyday life. From my kids having their earbuds in to me paying more attention to a Verizon commercial than my husband. And this class it absolutely begged me to stop and take the time to listen, to stop and to actually put aside preconceived notions and connect with someone I desperately need to have a conversation with.
Maybe learning isn't just sitting down and typing.
It's given me the opportunity to be a better teacher. It's given me the courage to stand up for young people and be a better leader. It's given me the grace to be a better spouse. And hopefully, I take Camp and Rabbi's message every day from the classroom, from St. Vincent to the real world.
How else are you going to get that?
And that I get to be that ambassador to my students, to stop and listen, to not judge, to try to counsel, to try to mentor, to guide.
Awesome.
For Roxanne Ruminsky, Rabbi Edelstein's class on the Holocaust led to a life-changing journey to Poland.
Having Rabbi Edelstein's class was a very moving experience. It inspired me to pursue a trip hosted by the Agency for Jewish Learning. I visited different concentration camps in the hometowns of 2 survivors who were also on the trip. It was a transformative experience, and I recognized that that trip and Rabbi Edelstein's class had both inspired me to pursue a career in cybercrime investigations, where I am able to use my resources and the gifts I've been given to protect people and overall do good.
Over the past 46 years, literally thousands of students have enrolled in courses in Catholic-Jewish dialogue at St. Vincent. For many, the experience has proven invaluable.
Every day we meet new people. There are people we like and people we don't like. And the truth is that in the midst of that reality, you have opportunities to change the world on a daily basis. And in Rabbi Edelstein's class, you learn how to be the person that can bring that reality into the world that you touch.
This kind of course provides an opportunity and a venue to see that two individuals with, yes, similar but yet very different beliefs are able to hold a civilized dialogue that really is powerful.
I would say that Catholic-Jewish dialogue is very important because at its root, it's not only about understanding the other party, but it's a lot about understanding us and where we come from.
In addition, it just really made me feel as though there's more to this world than just one viewpoint. There are multiple viewpoints, and nobody is necessarily right, and nobody's necessarily wrong.
It gives a broader perspective of the entire picture, rather than just keeping it as two separate things that kind of get along, but don't really meet in the middle to understand why they are the way they are.
Every faith asks the same question, the mystery of where we're going, why we're here. To be able to share each other's ideas is, I think it's a great leap forward. It's a good way to start discussing the bigger questions in life, questions that we've always been wondering about.
70 years ago,
to ensure that students at St. Vincent College will be able to continue to frame those questions through the lens of different faiths, the school is establishing a chair in Catholic-Jewish dialogue in honor of Rabbi Jason Edelstein.
My father is obviously a man of great faith, and he's devoted his life to that. And I think it's hard to have anything but reverence for him. Dialogue is merely the platform upon which things start.
what did he talk about?
Well, he asked questions.
Dialogue is not just a word. It is an experience in which there are three partners present. There's you, there's the other person, and there's God in between. And it's the three interacting together that create a lasting kind of experience.
There's no telling where that dialogue will take us, but it will open doors, and the hope is that it can be something that takes on a life of its own.
Our world is a divided world, so instead of lamenting it, I think it's incumbent upon us to do something about it. And this is what we're able to do. This is our mission as a Catholic college, to try to bring people together.
I feel that we do become greater by sharing our beliefs. Certainly that has been true for me. I feel that the 46 years I've spent here at St. Vincent have made me a better Jew, a better rabbi. And that sounds strange, but in order to be able to know what you believe in, you have to be able to explain it to others. And to explain it to others, you have to be open to the challenge that they face in trying to understand you.
We need leaders in this world, like Father Campion and Rabbi Edelstein, who won't lead with a shout, but who will lead by listening, and who will mentor, and who will guide, and who will encourage others to teach, to be there for those students who will need that calming presence too, just as I did when I was a 20-year-old kid.
I do believe that this small Benedictine liberal arts Catholic school in the middle of Western Pennsylvania, surrounded by cornfields, engaging in this massive interfaith dialogue with two religions that have been around for thousands of years, is just the microcosm and an experiment of what could be done throughout society and throughout all of humanity.
I think what I hope to gain from all of this is that when I'm done with these classes, I can look back at everything, at my own history, at the history of civilization even, look at my own faith and the faith of others and say, yes, this makes sense now.
My hope for students who have taken courses with me when they have left is that they will feel that they have enlarged their view of life, that they feel stronger in some fashion, more confident in some fashion, and above all, more hopeful in some fashion.
Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, for good.